Donna Lindsay, and you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show. If you too are grieving the loss of a loved one this holiday season, you're not alone. Here's a new song that I just put out called I'm Not Ready for Christmas, and it's about just that.
Everything keeps on moving, but I'm still here, stuck in this loop. Trying to be grateful for each day while missing you. Wish I could say I feel at home, but I don't. Everyone likes to talk, cause no one wants to listen to the silence in the room, or the masochist who mentions it. I don't feel joy, I feel the cold inside.
You are now listening to the greatest show in the universe.
Hey man, this is Tommy Chong, and right now you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, this is Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sean Danielson from Smile Empty Soul, and you are listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
The Anthony Rogers Show.
Brian Vanderek from the Verb Pipe here, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, this is James Jude Courtney, Michael Myers, a.k.a. The Shape, in Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and the soon-to-be-released Halloween Ends. And this is the Anthony Rogers Show.
I am Dave Holmes from MTV and Esquire Magazine, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
What's up, everybody? WWE Hall of Famer, the Godfather, and cannabis expert, and connoisseur, and you're watching the Anthony Rogers Show. Peace.
Hey, it's your favorite comedian, Anthony Rogers. This Christmas, make sure there's some Smokies edibles under your tree. Gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, no corn syrup. Way better than other edibles on the market. Get them, get them, get them. Eat responsibly, obviously. Like when you watch the show and you're not doing anything, or you're at work or anything like that. That's obvious, but some people have to hear that. Definitely, these are the watermelon. My favorite is the peach. I just grabbed these last night for something different. Sour watermelon sounded cool. I've had them before, but I just wanted a little something different, you know. So make sure they're under your tree this Christmas for the person you care about. Make sure that's 21 and over. Make sure they're 21 and over. Anyway, put these under your tree. Buy them as gifts. Buy them for yourself. They're amazing. Eat them before the show. Eat them before every episode, like me.
Luxurious Bastard Beard Co. is the best in beard care products. Grow a beard, be a man, and use Luxurious Bastard Beard Co. Use promo code LEGENDARY to get a discount. And get your Christmas shopping done early. Luxurious Bastard Beard Co. Link in description.
At Revolution Coffee Company, we are dedicated to giving you the best cup of coffee you have ever had, while supporting those who keep us safe. We roast our coffee daily, and we offer same-day shipping. Our coffee or shelf getting stale. Our prices beat our competition, and our coffee speaks for itself. Check us out at revolutioncoffeecompany.com.
So I'm Dennis with the Anthony Rogers Show podcast. My question for you is, what would you do if you became president to help the working class?
Well, I think the principal thing right now is housing. That the price of housing is going up, and it's beyond the reach of most American families.
Along with oil and gas and food.
Inflation is hurting everybody. And inflation is more complex. I can't say that I'm going to stop inflation overnight. What I can say is that I'm going to stop the long-term cause of inflation. I'm going to unravel a war machine. I'm going to reduce dramatically healthcare costs by ending the chronic disease.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. That was a long intro. That was a really long intro, but I liked it. I definitely think you should buy everything in the in the beginning. You should buy all the edibles, the beard oils. Even if you don't have a beard, you should buy some beard oil. That song by Arizona Lindsay's pretty good. She'll be on next week, I believe, or this week. I think she's on Wednesday. Actually, I lied to you. She's on Wednesday. Today we got an interesting episode. Doing something like, I don't know, if it's different or the same or what, but it's interesting to me, and like hopefully it's interesting to other people like as well. We have Cassidy Nolan on here talking about drones and stuff. How you doing, brother?
Well, thanks for having me.
As soon as you popped on, it went from 7 people to 120 people on my chart. So
Right on.
You're bringing the people with you today, so I appreciate it. This would have been a Zoom call if not for that last 5 minutes. No, I'm joking. But no, so I was reading a bunch of what you did and stuff. So brief me on that and dumb it down because I'm an idiot. What exactly did you do in the military with drones and stuff? That sounded kind of cool. Like I remember reading that.
Yeah. So I did military intelligence, and it definitely sounds a lot cooler than sometimes than what you do per se. But like I was sold on like, hey, you're gonna be like James Bond and go overseas. We for sure went overseas. We for sure were not James Bond though. So as far as the job that I actually did on my deployments in 2010 and 2012 was I was what ended up being called like a collections manager. And a collections manager is kind of like a all source, well, not necessarily, but you're gonna just kind of get, and I know it kind of sort of obvious of like you're gonna collect a lot of information from different sources. And if you're doing your job right, you're going to depending on your mission or the sort of job that is to be done, you're going to kind of build a target package, or let's say it's. I feel like it's kind of like it depends on what you're trying to do. Is probably the best way for me to say that, because if your job or if you're trying to do a lot of drug interdiction ops, you're going to put assets in a certain location to either like find routes of communication, like basically like ingress egress routes. You're going to use certain type of assets that can like find that, if that makes sense. It could be in the ground, it could be in the air, it could be a unit like a sniper or reconnaissance unit overlooking an area, right? And once you have that, if it's drug interdictions, then you're going to find a means to stop the vehicle or the caravan, or they don't really use, like, there's no mules in Afghanistan, but there's camels for sure. There is mules too. I'm making a joke, but you could also use kinetic strikes. That's where a lot of really, especially in 2010, that we were really heavy on drone strikes, and we're even more heavy on it now, or we're even more efficient on it now. But a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, it would usually result in a drone strike, because we would find IED emplacers, we would find basically like Taliban or enemy fighters that were moving to an area, or they had like basically a positive identification that they had weapons or they had material that we knew that we could do a strike on. So I let me know if I'm going too fast or if I'm all over the place here.
No, I'm listening. No, I'm interested.
Okay, right on.
Off if it sucked. I'm interested for sure.
So basically, we're gonna use it really as like a collections manager, and with drones is you're gonna kind of be a funnel where all this information is gonna funnel down, and from there you're gonna be able to say, like, can we create like a target package? Can we create a mission or an operation to either maybe put an what we call like ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. If we could put like a predator or a reaper to maintain overwatch of a particular area, or while maintaining identification in this area, if we see somebody, we're going to launch a missile at them. And that's really what we did. I know that might have been a lot of, maybe kind of was all over the place, but there's definitely there's a lot of disciplines that are involved. And then I honestly can't necessarily go into like the nitty gritty details of how we did it or collected information, because a lot of that is still classified. But a lot of stuff you can find on the internet. So I think I could kind of go into details about that. But
So this was 2010
drone.
when you're doing this, you said?
Yeah, this was in Afghanistan, Helmand Province. What we called like the fish hook, which is the Helmand River, and it kind of like it comes down like a fish hook and comes back up. And I mean, we worked with the British when I was overseas. Who's married to Meghan Markle? Is that Harry? Right?
I hate royalty. I can't pay attention to that. I don't know why. It's like as an American, I just hate it. Like I don't know.
Right on. Well, one of those guys were over there they were located at this big base. It was called Leatherneck, and I spent time there. I spent time at what are called like COPs or command observation posts, and another one was called Castle, and it was a no shit sandcastle built by like Alexander the Great, and it had like archer slits in it. It was definitely a trip because the Russians had occupied it prior, right, in the 1980s.
Yeah,
And now Americans are over here, and it was such a just a trip of like, how many dynasties have come over to here and died.
Yeah, it's probably the Chinese
basically
now. Like if we left, I mean, probably China took over after we left. I imagine. Like,
so that's an interesting concept because a lot of people would say that, and there was talk of like huge lithium ion deposits in Afghanistan.
is that true?
And
I definitely heard that. Is that true?
what I will say is that when I was there was an exploration that was done, and what I know is that they didn't find anything.
Huh.
Is that fair?
Okay.
On top of that, though, some food for thought is that China has owned the mining rights to Afghanistan since like I'm pretty sure like the 1970s. So even if there was any lithium ion that was actually found there, it's possible. I don't know how the geopolitics and everything, but it's possible we never would have been able to even like, extract it.
Legally.
Yeah, legally, and that's fair. That's fair. Absolutely. I honestly think a lot of our time, money, and effort though was really spent on reducing the black tar heroin or opium like population, or really like trying to stem the flow of it, because at the time in 2010, 95% of the world's opium came from Afghanistan, and it's because the poppy plant thrives in that environment, and it's such like, if you really look at it economically, it's like it's a huge viable product in the sense of like it doesn't cost a lot to make it. It doesn't need a lot of like it doesn't need a lot of requirements. It just does very well, and honestly does very well in a desert area, and low maintenance. And we would get basically we would get these 1 kilogram black tar heroin they would sell for about $1,200 US, but the street value, this is back in 2010, was like $250,000, and we would get those by the truckloads.
That's crazy. Now you saw you definitely saw like going like dealing with Afghanistan and the American military, and then you definitely saw like a heroin, opiate, fentanyl epidemic like after. You definitely saw that. No, that was in some movie. What was that movie with Denzel where he did that in Vietnam or something?
Oh, actually, I love that movie. It's called The Manchurian Candidate, and
okay. Yeah, that was it kind of opened my eyes to that more so because when you're a kid, you're just like, man, I want to be a police officer, I want to be this, I want to be that, and then like I want to be, and then you like kind of see like through it a little bit. I mean, not as much as somebody's been there. I just read articles, man. I'm not like a person that's even like I haven't even been to that side of the world, bro. You know what I mean? I've only been in the Western Hemisphere, so that limits my actual train of thought, I think. But no, I think that's interesting. That's a cool job. So basically. I wonder how crazy it is now because this is 13 years later. So I wonder how if 2010 if drones were that intense where you could basically watch anybody. I can only imagine the way it is now, man. With phones
and within like 5 seconds, like if we found, and here's the part that another Navy SEAL who has his own podcast had said, it's like, war touches you and you touch war. There's definitely things that you're subjected to while you're overseas that, try as hard as you might, like you never will be able to really like just remove yourself from, right? And one of the things, unfortunately for me, is that And I say this because, like, it'll be a nice day. You're just driving around doing your own thing. You're like, oh man, remember that video? Remember that live feed? Because you're watching everything from a screen most times. Of that guy that just got just evaporated. I'm just a missile, cut him in half, or
They show you that
um,
you can see that stuff on your end too.
yeah, we would call it predator porn because the asset itself is called a predator, and I mean it's videos on videos on videos, um, people just getting the worst day of their life kind of thing,
Yeah,
or the
no.
best day of their life.
I was under the impression that you guys couldn't see. I didn't know you guys could. I thought the video quality was like really bad and grainy,
No.
and they kept it that way. I didn't realize. So you had like good video of the bombings and stuff, like as the drone guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's as good as quality as this right here. The sensors on those platforms are very. I mean, think about the sensors that are on police helicopters.
Yeah, that's why. No, it never made
It's
sense to me.
that.
I was under the impression
Yeah.
that I was under the like what I read somewhere or seen somewhere. Like I said, I have no military experience. This is all Hollywood or like articles or something. But what I was
Yeah.
under the impression they kept them like fuzzy for you guys, so you didn't see that. That's what I was.
No.
I had a feel.
Yeah.
I read. I don't know where I got that information, but I was
Oh,
under
it's
that
okay.
impression until you cleared that up. That's interesting. So yeah, you guys.
Yeah, the pilots are flying here in the United States for these drones. And they have like 12-hour shifts. The planes themselves, the assets can stay what we call like on target for 10, 12 hours, just continuously flying circles. And they're so far away and they're so quiet. You can't hear them, you really can't see them. And they have cameras that are exceptionally good,
That
and we
makes
could tell if you're carrying a rifle, if you're carrying a shovel, if you're carrying any type of other equipment. They
How long
have
till they
what are
turn that
called
on
like,
us? You think?
what's that?
How long till they turn that on us? You think?
I don't have any reason to think that they would turn on American people. I
I
mean,
hope
other than
not.
I hope not too. I hope not too.
Yeah, I just worry about that technology. I mean, it's great technology to be America and stuff, and like, it's
It
just like, man,
is,
I
yeah.
hope they never turn that on. Like, and I can see why. I mean, I'm worried about all these. I'm worried about all these like raids and stuff. I feel like they're like building like all these fighting age men coming across the border and stuff. I'm like looking at it. And I'm like, man, are you guys just building like adding to your sleeper cells here? And they're just gonna like go crazy. I mean, it almost seems like that. I don't know. So I mean, it
Right.
may come a time when we need drones as defense here. Just because of that.
Yeah, if we're talking out loud, and myself as a person who's been out of it for a while, but I I honestly think that's really the direction that we're going. Is if you look at every American conflict, um, with the exception of the Civil War because that was American on American, but our deaths per engagement or per campaign has gotten lower and lower and lower and lower. Um, each time, and a lot of that is going to come from better tactics for sure, better technology, better weapons, but really it's that intelligence sector that or technology sector that changes just so many things because you have the drones that are able to provide like Overwatch. They're able to provide these kinetic strikes now. Um, we're moving in a field now. I mean, if you look at the war in Ukraine and Russia, it's insane. That kind of technology just was, just cusping, like just breaching when I was getting out in 2013. And where it is today is, I'll share the story. So when we first started to put missiles on the drones, because in the Iraq War we just had the Predator, and it was kind of a prototype, if you will. It had no offensive capabilities. It had no ability to shoot a missile. We just could be like, hey, there's enemy fighters over there. Like launch a we could launch a artillery round, or we could have so and so kind of do a flank and kill them or whatever. But then like, hey, can we put missiles on it? So then we created the Predator 2, and it had two missiles. And then from there, for the Afghanistan war, they're like, hey, we could really ramp this up, and they created the Reaper, which could carry 8. Um, I'm trying to remember the missile names. I apologize. It's been too
No,
long,
you're
but
good. You know better than me, man.
Hellfires, right? They're called Hellfires, and it was a Hellfire 2 missile because the first Hellfire was, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong here, but it was meant for like anti-tank, right? It was a missile that they would use for anti-armor, and the Hellfire 2 missile was now anti-personnel. So you're already seeing this evolution: Predator, no offense capabilities, and then they're able to put a missile on it, and the missile that they put on it originally was anti-armor. Now it's anti-personnel. Now they're creating a drone that could hold 8 of these things, right? Um, Here was a problem that we discovered in Afghanistan when we launched these missiles. Even though there's only like 10 pounds of explosive or 20 pounds of explosive in the one of the biggest risk factors is collateral damage, right? Because I'm trying to kill you. If you're in a building somewhere, the only way to get to you is if we're going to blow up that building, right? But when we blow up that building, we're going to blow out a wall. I mean, the whole roof could come down, whatever. Like the whole building is most likely going to be demolished. And if there's kids in there, anything, the United States is liable. The United States is looked as a bad guy, right? We're going to create more enemies in doing that. The missiles that we use now basically are not explosive, so it's a kinetic strike, and it has blades that come out like a helicopter and spin around, and they cut you up. They cut you in half. And that technology is not something that I saw when I was in, and it was used extensively in Syria, and for all I know, it's still being used in Iraq and Syria today. So it is insane how far the technology is going. You could look at even just drones, the drone strikes that we're seeing in Russia and Ukraine, where everything is kind of this counterinsurgency. It's this very like asymmetrical warfare where they're able to 3D print fins and use grenades, and everything is off the shelf drones. But the way that our military is using it now is leaps and bounds beyond that, where we're able to drop hundreds of drones, like micro drones, that could basically, like, I think they're called like suicide or kamikaze. I don't know the actual terminology, but they have a X amount of pounds of explosives, and you could create what's called like a swarm. If you ever played like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, or I think it's in Modern Warfare 3 now, but that technology is a real thing where an entire sky of drones can be directed. And
that's crazy to me in the wrong hands, like how far we are technologically. Like
yes,
any evil dude with enough money and enough computers could probably just like take over the world right now. That's nuts. The thing, you know what I mean? Like it's like Napoleon and Alexander the Great had to like rally other men. Like you don't even have to do that anymore. You're like, okay, I got a bunch of like swarm drones, or whatever your terminology, and whatever weapon they use.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nuts, and I hope that we have better ones than China. Is all I care about, really. Right now, it's like the way the world's going. I hope we have better drones than Russia and China, and Iran, I guess.
Yeah,
that's really where it's at. I think they could rip off our technology, but I think we're still the best.
They often do. Often do. It's actually quite comical how much they do it. But man's reach exceeds man's grasp, for sure, 100%. Oftentimes, though, we do have the better technology, about 9 times out of 10. But that isn't always going to be the biggest factor. You could see that. I hate to say it, myself being a veteran, obviously, of the war, but sometimes it just comes down to like a culture or a philosophy. The United States was never going to win Vietnam, and we weren't going to win Vietnam even though we had the best technology in the world. This is off the heels of the Korean War, in which case we beat the North Koreans and the Chinese back, and that's why they're still in North Korea, South Korea today. And of course in World War II, where we dropped the atomic bomb twice, and then our country wasn't destroyed really economically. We were thriving,
Yeah, it was
so we had we were very arrogant. We had just insane wealth at the time, and we thought we were too big to fail in Vietnam, and we lost to people that would fight us with booby traps, which was highly effective. Like they were the first real, maybe they weren't their first real guerrilla warfare, but
that we lost to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
They were fighting for the
so,
right thing, and we were trying to. I mean, France was trying to colonize.
Right.
Like, we shouldn't have been involved in that. And like, they were the good guys. It sucks.
Correct.
It sucks to say that, but
Correct.
I mean, we were the good
Yes.
guys in World War II. That's why we stomped them all. You know, or my grandfather did. You know, my grandfather like
Mhm.
bitched back Germany and Japan. You know, it's like, and you know, I love America when they're the good guy. You know, and I think that they often I mean, with the great military, I mean, how would they not exploit you? I mean, yeah, to be honest, we have the best military that's ever probably walked the earth. You know, I mean, to be honest, like ever. I mean, at least documented. And I think that like, I mean, I could totally see why people would try to like compromise that and like use it to enforce colonies and like exploitation. I mean, I totally see why people would do that. I mean, it's not like a fucking like even a tough thought to think of. You know, it's like very obvious. You have the best military. You're definitely gonna. I mean, have some problems, but I think I don't know. I really hope a lot of the world's mad at us right now, and I really hope it doesn't come down to us just like wiping out an entire generation of their people, you know. And I really hope. I mean, I'm a Christian. I don't want to have to see that, but I'm also not going to like let them take over my country. I mean, that's how I feel right now. I feel like we're at the biggest threat of World War III I've ever felt in my life, if it hasn't already started, you know. And like that's, I mean, it's got. I mean, what's your thoughts on that as a veteran?
I think that we're kind of living through it right now. I think this is, you know, because the nuclear age and the countries that do have atomic bombs, that we have the ability to wipe everyone. I mean, you only need to launch like 7 or 9 missiles to create like a environmental disaster, economic, like food chain shortage, that even if you're not completely wiped out in the blast itself or the radiation or anything else, that most likely you would die of starvation, because the amount of dust and particles that would be kicked up from such an event, and just the turmoil that would ensue, like like our food chain that really is quite delicate if you think about it, would completely collapse. And unless, you know, you're living in a bunker off of rations, and then what kind of life is that? And medical technology falls, you know, like be it's, you know, a zero sum game. So I think the political players in place, as long as nobody fires first, most likely nuclear weapons won't be used. Um, it's a shame when there is war. I think any veteran worth their weight in salt would say that, you know, all killing is bad, more or less, right here. You know, I'm not advocating for you know, a child molester or anything else that killed people to get off the hook. I'm simply saying that, you know, on both sides, people die and sons and daughters get buried, and you know, that's somebody's husband or brother or wife or husband, you know, like it's terrible. All of that's terrible. And I don't think anybody really wants that if we can't solve it using words, right? And what is war but an extension of democracy in its own way? But the amount of activity that we've been seeing recently is for sure alarming, and I think I was more concerned about it maybe a year or two ago, and there's probably just a sense of ease now, because it's been going, you know, like basically fatigue, right? But you have incredibly high tensions in China right now, predominantly over what's called the Spratly Islands or the South China Sea, and that's because every country in that area is vying over areas that extend their basically like geographical. Every country is allotted like 15 miles off of their coast of like, this is our land, right? And I can't remember the term for it right now, but every country in that area is extending that reach beyond 15 miles. And everyone is saying within the South China Sea, specifically the Spratly Islands, that this is mine. And the reason why it's so contested is that supposedly there's the 4th largest oil reserve underwater there. So economically, it could be a huge gain for whatever country that has it. What I honestly think is that China wants to have it because it would extend their ability to launch planes, early indicators, um, ships. So like they could have surveillance, like submarines, that other countries have predominantly been able to utilize without any threat of any sort. So I think it's probably more like that, but it's becoming increasingly more active since the war in Ukraine broke out. And then obviously you have Hamas and Israel that's been brewing for a while. Ukraine and Russia has been brewing for a while. China and Vietnam and Thailand, and they've been battling this for a long time. Taiwan for a long time. North Korea, Japan has been going on for a long time. Like a lot of these things have been bubbling for sure. It's interesting to see it kind of come up as fast and as hard as it has done last year. Maybe that's a sign of, I don't know. We also pulled out of Afghanistan.
Yeah,
The United States is maybe the United States is kind of seen as like, well, they're no longer a big player in our area. Maybe they want to like kind of like, circle the wagons for a minute, right? So it kind of maybe it emboldens them. I don't know. I'm not,
Yeah, no, our president, like not being able to form a sentence probably emboldens them too. It's like America, like America looks weak right now, but the citizens aren't. And like it's just like our representation's weak right now, and like because they represent themselves. And I think that's
Yeah.
I mean that's why they're so weak. They're not with us. But I think that I really hope that the world just calms down. Like it just seems like I mean, it was like Hamas and Israel. That's like that's Iran's front. And then you have Russia, Ukraine. It's like Russia's front. And then I'm waiting for China to take Taiwan. I'm like, I already know what's gonna happen. Just do it. About at this point. It's like, and then it's just like, what's gonna happen outside of that? It's like, and you're right, because it could either get really messy, be over in 3 seconds, or it could last forever and just like ruin all this stuff forever. It's just like annoying. It's like, I don't know, man. I just want to like, it's just like an annoying time. And like, how many times has this happened? Like, they probably just like make everybody mad and sell weapons to both sides over and over again. That's like that's what it seems like to me anyway. I mean,
No, you're absolutely correct. That's exactly what's going on. There is such a thing as a military-industrial complex. It's a real thing. It's sad and unfortunate, but I don't see it changing anytime soon. It's the United States makes war really good. We're very profitable in it.
I just hope ours wins. Like at the very least, I hope our corrupt government beats everybody else's corrupt government. That's about how I feel. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I would say and simply for me, it's I just wish that we could have a peaceful solution, if one exists. If one exists, that we should try and exercise it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. Actually,
there really, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but there really isn't like a victor. Did I lose you? There oftentimes just isn't a like a solid exit strategy for anyone. Maybe the last time that we had that was probably World War II, where Germany surrendered, Japan surrendered, and even then there was a lot of heartache and remorse and death, and it's terrible. So
it's gonna be weird when World War III starts. And like we're on the same side as Germany. That's gonna be weird, right?
Yeah, they're definitely, they're a close ally. Obviously, not as close as the British that we have fought along with, or the French for that matter.
Right. We become allies everywhere we fought. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
good tactic, really. Though.
We have, yeah, it is, and I think that was definitely like a pipe dream in Afghanistan. I mean, we opened, the Obama administration opened up really good like trade negotiations with Vietnam, and we have done a lot of work with Vietnam for quite a long time. It was Nixon who opened up trade relations with China back in the 70s. Like
one of the biggest mistakes in the American century. Like one of the biggest mistakes. I mean, I like almost bigger than not as sad as 9/11, but bigger than 9/11. Like I'd argue, man, those like it's disgusting how they basically sold our entire country for their retirement plan. Like the generation.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Sorry, I hate that.
No. You know what? All right, let me pick your brain here for a second. Why would we make that deal though?
because we're lazy and we don't work in factories. So we push it over to this like slave nation to make everything. And then they have all the factories, all the population, all the economy now. Like we have no exports. We have like fame. Like fame's our only export now. And like everything. It's just, I am embarrassed for that generation. And like, we have to fix it. We're the people that have to fix it. And like, that's the generation that calls me entitled. You mean they're like, oh, you're just so entitled. I'm like, you sold my country. Like, what are you talking about? You mean, it's like World War II, the World War II generation, like the veterans and stuff, raised the bar so high, and their kids and everyone dropped the ball. And now we're like the grandkids and great grandkids of these people having to fix it and pick up after our parents' generation, man. Because they were all idiots, man. They just bought fast food and just like drink poison and ate poison and fed their kids poison and like didn't grow anything. We're too lazy to be adults. Like basically a mall generation, man. They just like sat around watching TV and dumb TV shows over and over again. That's all they did. You mean and then called us dumb. I'm like, what?
That's a solid point. I don't have that's honestly it's hard to fight that for sure. And I really did like that bit about they are they were hard workers for sure, like the Jetsonian era in the 1950s, where once all right, let's I don't want to take your time here, but let me exercise the thought. You're right. We did sell our country out to China because, like you said, they employ, terrible business practices. There is no such thing as business ethics. It is a communist state. They do have a greater sense of collectivism. But the jobs that they're doing, yes, I mean, they have a cap now on they own the market on manufacturing, bar none, right? They can manufacture things that would cost us more because we, on a whole, mostly try and employ good business practices, good business ethics, OSHA requirements, fair standards in labor, wages, and
we don't have safety nets outside Amazon, like for you to.
Yeah. So so you don't kill yourself. Yeah.
Because what scares me is that they're evil and they're monsters. And they make all the phones, man. So they have all the microphones, video, GPS of everything. They could look at like a program and see where everyone's at just by their phones, man. They could bomb us. They have all the intel just off that, man. Like we handed it to them, and we continue to hand it to them, and it's like insane. I have no idea like why if we get to World War China, we handed them the win. We just handed it to them on a platter. We're like, oh yeah, here I'm too lazy to make my own phones. I'm too lazy to make my own stuff. Oh, you're just like, it's just like, I mean, I can't believe how dumb this takeover was. Like, it's just like, it's crazy to me.
You know what? That's a very, very good point. I agree. I think it's good that there's been a sort of like reinvestment or stimulation in our own manufacturing here. Especially within the tech sector, which is for the same reasons. It probably will never be as big as China, though. Let's be real.
Well, the problem is, okay, sorry, I get hyped up. Like the problem is basically, okay, so we create all this stuff. We innovate. Yes. We have a Steve Jobs. We have an innovator who basically puts the tablet in everyone's hand, like a phone, and then basically we send the blueprints to them for their slaves to make. So we basically we hand them all of our innovation, we hand them everything, and then like it just makes no. I have no idea how they haven't taken us over already. They must be like way less ambitious than America. It just makes. I mean, because America would already have. It just makes no sense. We gave them everything. We like put a little bow on it. We're like, here you go. Here's all of our ideas. Here's all of our blueprints or patents or whatever. It's just like, I mean, it's insulting, and it's just like.
Well, we're still the leading edge, though. Even with what you're saying. Well, I don't culturally. I think it's within our best interest as Americans. We are always finding new ways, right? Like
that's true too. We are the all-star.
We did create. We were the first ones to create the internet.
Yeah.
The British were the atomic bomb. The British were technically the first ones to create the computer. But
yeah. And they talk about him as a German guy, but it's like a bunch of German guys. But here's the thing: if you're like if you're the smartest Chinese guy, you're now American. And that's pretty much how it. I mean, we're the all-star team, the offspring of that. So if you're like the best at what you do, you want to get out of your country and you want to come here and you want to buy a sports car and you want a condo on a lake at least, or maybe the ocean. I mean, these guys. I mean, that's how I feel. That's the best thing about America. We're easy to infiltrate. Because we are so diverse, but that makes us easy to infiltrate. And then I think because like if I go to China, you're gonna be like, oh, that guy's not fucking Chinese, you know, like. How can be like if I see an Asian guy, I'm like, I don't even know what country in Asia the guy's from, you know? Like, he's probably American at this point. Like he's probably born here. So it's like it's just such a diverse, which is good in a lot of ways, but he's so easy to infiltrate. And then, but also we have all these good guys here, man. I mean, we're the genetic offspring of monsters, man. This is the only time freedom's ever existed. Even if it's like, oh man, it's like limited in like certain ways, and they steal elections and whatever else. But I mean, like, it's still more free than like it's more free than it's ever been. Because like, I mean, you look at like the people that were rich, it was all like popes and kings and queens, and now it's like a guy in a garage put out of business right now. You know, and that's what's great. I mean, like, there could be another Bezos right now in his parents' basement or parents' garage, you know, and there probably is. There's probably 5 of them.
There is.
Yeah, and that's America, and that's what I love about America. And America, like they forgot that, man. We're supposed to just cry and argue with everybody. It's like you're allowed to be wrong and you're allowed to disagree with people. It's like what happened to that? It's like people won't even have friend groups outside of their belief structure now. And I'm just like, what is going on, man? Like it's like weird.
Well, you know, that's a really good point. Let me just raise this question to you for a second. Our country is so good, right? With respect to all the other countries, I'm not trying to, you know, be a bigot or anything else like that. It's an amazing country.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Born and raised, will never leave. Right? Okay. Our country is so good, and our standard of living is so nice. I know people are experiencing hardships. I get it. I know, but all the same, everything is so good that we can now start to argue about gender pronouns and everything because we have the freedom to do it. We don't need to worry about is food going to come today? You know, am I going to have clean water when I drink this, or am I going to get diarrhea? Right? Like, that's how good our country is. And
that's
like,
a great point. That's a fantastic point.
It's upsetting that we don't have, you know, this big collectivism anymore as a country, where I hate to say it, and I think other people have said it better than me, but 9/11 was a terrible day. But 9/12 was a different day.
That's true.
Right? And the same could be said. All right, hot topic, hot button issue. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, like there was a moment in time where like everyone forgot about the economy and inflation and the war, and we don't have that anymore, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. It's terrible.
Well,
that you're right.
America always comes back with a common enemy. We were the same way for World War II. We're just a bunch of drunk assholes, like you know, and like World War II happened. Well, we need a common enemy. Does unite America pretty fast. Like we stop picking on each other for 5 seconds, and we pick on the same person.
Yes,
and I do love that. No, and you made a lot of great. I agree with a lot of what you said, and probably all of what you said. But I think like. I mean, that's such a good point because, yeah, we have it so good. Survival's a water faucet that we're bickering about other things. That totally makes sense. And, and those people probably would have died. I mean, the people complaining about pronouns probably would have died. I mean, not to be a dick, but they probably wouldn't be here in Roman times or like other times. They would have been thrown off a cliff or something. Or like wouldn't have survived. A faucet was survival. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling, but
no. I think realistically, I don't think you would have been able to even like exercise those thoughts or concepts.
You wouldn't have gotten that far because you were just.
You wouldn't have gotten that far because like I wish that we could have. And I grew up in a low income housing complex when I was younger. When I lived with my mom, and my mom was a single mother of 5.
I was broke too. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Right.
Broker than you, bro.
But it makes us. Yeah. What do you know about WIC? Foods, welfare, Christmas. Food
I'm like, you
stamps,
had those. You had that. That's what we call the rich kids. You know, it's like you had food. Wow, that's not. I'm just messing around. My parents were just young. I live in Australia, but it was like they're young and broke. My mom was like 19, dude. Even nobody has money at 19.
No, Lord knows I didn't.
Yeah, dude. I barely have it now. I'm like 37. You know? I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine having a kid. You know.
Well,
because I get hyped up. Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying that, and I think, and you see this a lot in the military too, is that like when you grow up poor, and everyone else around you is poor, and I'm not advocating for communism. I'm just trying to simply use this as a point of like, there wasn't a big separation between like wealth and status when I was growing up in that complex, right? But it wasn't like a super dangerous place like, you know, in Queens or something like that, where it's like, hey, you need to be careful or something. I don't know. getting away from it. The point is that like because we all were poor and we all were around the same age and we all grew up in the same location, we would go outside and play all the time. It was like the modern day block party, but this is back in 1990.
I miss that.
And
I miss that being a kid part.
yeah, that doesn't. At least I don't see that today, and I don't think it's simply because of an economic disparage between houses. I think it's more of like um, culturally we have shifted away from having because we don't need to anymore, right? We used to rely on your neighbor for a cup of sugar. Can you watch my
Oh,
kid? You know what I mean? Like this is that generation, like you said, of the parents and grandparents, where it's like, just leave them over there. Kids are meant to be seen, not heard, right?
yeah. That is the difference.
And
Necessity. Wow, I never thought about the lack of tribalism is because of necessity. Lack of
yes,
necessity. That's a great point.
we
I never thought about
we've
that.
gotten away from that. Where now it's like whatever it is that you need, and it's just your phone now too, right? Like you're hungry, you could order food. You don't need to have somebody watch your kid to go pick up food, right?
Easiest life ever.
Fine.
My life is
It,
so. I copy paste sentences for a living. I feel like, dude, it's like that's. I mean, it's the easiest life I've ever had. I couldn't imagine an
yes,
easier life, and I
yeah,
still complain about everything. You know, like all the time. I complain nonstop, and I have the
there
best
it
life.
is.
I have the best life of all time. I mean, this is like it's like I'm living my childhood dream at 37. You know, which is kind of weird.
Nice,
It's kind of no. I feel like it's
nice.
kind of weird because like your dreams like based on like I was 16-year-old view the world, and now I'm like 37.
Yeah,
But other than, that's not important. But I'm saying like that's impossible for anybody. Is what I'm saying. And I'm like really, I'm not that
right.
smart. I just show up every day. Like
That's half the work.
dude,
Trust
it
me,
is.
showing up. Half the work is showing up for
Dude,
sure.
yeah, consistency and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And like, I see what you're seeing. There's a lot of 20-year-olds are like, man, I like communism and stuff. And I'm like, bro, you're a useful idiot in a takeover. Like, shut up. I mean, it's just like you're first in the gulags, bro. You're first in the gulags. It's like, unless you're practicing making Nikes, you're not useful to them. Like basically, like we're gonna be making their Nikes, But no, but I feel like no one has a chance. I feel like basically no one has a chance. Missouri. I'm from. Where are you from? I'm from Missouri. Where are you from?
California.
California. What part?
I grew up in Petaluma, which is a farm town. Butter and eggs is what it's known
Is
for.
that
Like
north or central? Where is it at?
it's Northern California. It's about 45 minutes north of San Francisco.
Okay, but I'm familiar. Okay, I'm ish. I'm not with your town, but I know the area. Yeah. Okay. No, I was just
Okay.
wondering. Like,
I live in Napa.
Okay, I'm very familiar. Wine country. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. I was just wondering for curiosity, but but I feel like if anyone ever threatened like Missouri, even they would just drop them out of the fucking sky. Like, there's so many guys here just like with like bunkers and just ready for this and been waiting for this. It's like their wet dream. But I really hope we get away. As a Christian, I hope we get away from that. I hope we just like. I hope we like rise. Like I don't know, man. I feel like we're almost at end times. Like when I look at a lot of stuff, man. Like the one world currency, the one world order, the globalism, all this stuff. I'm like, man, we're just like this is like revelation, bro. Like everything's just like the pharmacy's fooling all the nations. I mean, merchants are the great men. No one takes marriage seriously. I mean, you can take a verse out of Revelation, like okay, that's right now. People are in love with self. I mean, selfies. Are you kidding me? Like just like we're literally in the. I mean, but I feel like I don't know if that's like accurate, but I feel like that. Literally, why is it in that book? Like, why is everything happening in that book? It's like nuts to me, And it's like, okay, is there even a chance? Is there even a chance, or like, what's I just don't know the future, man. I feel like we're either going to a renaissance or we're going back to like it's gonna be like that. There's a bunch of EMPs and nukes and stuff. I don't know which. And I'm hoping that like these fevered egos just let me chill out, and like I hope I didn't just like put all this work in for the end of the world. It's like. That's the worst part, It's like you put in like 10 years worth of work, and you're just like, oh, now the world ends. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I put in all that work. I could just done whatever I wanted to do. And it's like, it's just a weird time we're in. And I think most of it's fear based to keep us in a low vibration, so we're easier to control. To be honest, I mean, it's all CIA theater mostly. They wouldn't tell us anything they don't want us to know. They want us scared, or they wouldn't show it to us.
Maybe they just let our imaginations run wild.
That's real too. I mean, I'm probably way more paranoid than I am scared of the media. It's like. I don't trust anything. Like I'm just like that Will Smith slap. When you're saying that, I'm so skeptical. I was like, oh, that's sponsored by Pfizer. Like immediately, I was just, this was, like the event was sponsored by Pfizer, and they're all trying to kill us. And so I'm like, I hear that, and I'm like, I don't know. You're right though. It's a divine act of misinformation, and then we all just argue over paranoid theories.
Yeah, I think that's respectfully, I think that's probably the more realistic case where
people. It seems like.
Yeah, I think it is. It's very easy to do the doom spiral And what you talk about is something that I think existed then, and I think it existed 30 years ago, and I think it existed 20 years ago, and it exists today. I don't, because we're human and we're subjected to that type of like emotions and actions. I hate to say it, I think it's just going to find a new way to like sneak in and manifest into something else, but it's not going to go away. And it's just kind of finding peace with that, and I think it's kind of moving on from that. And all you said is true. It would suck to do. I mean, it kind of trivializes if you say the end of the world is in a year from now or something. It trivializes everything that we have done, even up to the day of like nothing. Well, then nothing really mattered, right?
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately it doesn't really, but we can't live like that. It's like you can't just be like, oh, I just die no matter what. Like, no matter what or how hard I work or how many. I
Right.
just decay. I mean, it's just a sad existence, and like this is I don't know. I feel like you believe in reincarnation, man. You think you think you've been here before?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I tried.
No one knows. Yeah.
No, exactly. As far as we know, right? No one knows, but I think this is something that we all struggle with. Is like just living here in the moment, because
Yeah.
it's very easy to look back on the past, and it means that you get stuck in it, and it detracts you from looking forward, or you look too far forward, and that detracts you from being able to live in the moment itself.
I
So
struggle
I
with
feel
that
like,
personally. I think. No, I'm always in my
yeah,
head. I agree with that.
yeah.
I
So
personally.
it's very hard. Yeah, I think it's hard. It's very easy for us to get pulled in either direction, where us even as a society, we want to relive the glory days, or we want to progress too far, but we struggle with living in the moment. And I have kids. I legitimately struggle with just enjoying playing Legos with my kids, because I'm consistently thinking about, even like short term, like very micro. I need to get dinner going, you know what I mean? Or like I got a bill I need to pay, or I sell hot sauce, like I need to send some orders out.
It's funny how
To
that works. Like
thinking,
I can relate to that a
yeah,
lot too. And it's like I can relate to like
yeah,
my low ambitions. I want Qdoba. My high ambitions are to
yeah,
be a millionaire. And like
yeah,
both exist. You know what I mean? It's like
yes, yeah.
it's a weird thing. I've never heard anyone else point that out. And I think like that a lot. That's weird.
And then a week goes by, a year goes by, and you're like, oh, like the moments where you feel like you really lived is when you're like, I'm gonna go on that vacation. I've been planning on this. We're going to the beach. We're hanging out. You know what I mean? Having some drinks or something like that. And like, that's all that and your brain naturally wants to forget about all the hard work that you did, and that's the reason, like, we'll often look back at our childhood um with like rose colored glasses, because it's
Oh
easier
yeah.
for our brain to process it and be like, no, just remember the happy stuff. You know what I mean? Because like it because at the end of the day, like, real depression is bad for you naturally, right? So your brain, in a survival instinct, wants to get rid of that. So it's only going to want to try and remember the happy things. And like, man, I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but
No, you're
uh,
making like you have a lot of good points.
everything that you're saying is normal and natural. And we as a society need to come together as a tribe. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different religion. But we should all like, your right wing, your left wing. You still need both wings to fly, right?
Fair, yeah. No, it's like I, I I think both parties are swooped anyway, man. I definitely tend to be more Republican, to be honest with you. So I'm pro guns and all that stuff, and the
Yeah, no, center right.
and freedom and stuff. I believe in God and like my country. So, but I mean, even then, I mean, the Republican Party's been swooped. I mean, they don't even let the main contender debate. Like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, I'm just like the main guy can't even debate, regardless of your feelings on him, or anyone's feelings on him. It's like he's the fascist, but he can't even debate. Like, it's like, what's going on, man? Like, I'm watching
Yeah.
all this stuff, and the current guy can't form a sentence, and then everybody else just seems paid for, and it's just like, oh my god, like that Vivek guy just seems like another Obama. He's just like gonna say the right things all the
Yeah.
time, and he does. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got great words, and like. And then
Yeah.
like somehow like other guys are up there, like Chris Christie's up there somehow. I'm like, how the fuck is Chris Christie in a debate?
He's on
Like,
borrowed time.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
he's
the guy
on
has
borrowed
no
time.
chance at president. Like me and him have so much in common and since we'll never be president. Neither one of me or Chris Christie will never be. I probably have a better chance than Chris Christie does of being president, and I have no fucking chance. And then you look at the left, it's just like Biden's just a fucking idiot, and like his entire family's fucking stupid. And like, and then I mean, you'd have to have 5 guys die from natural causes to get to an actual American at this point. Like in office, I mean, the vice president's not American. Like to me anyway, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't look very American. I mean, I don't think selling out our country makes you American. And I don't think it's a party system. I think both sides are bullshit. I think the rhinos are bullshit. I think the fucking left's bullshit. I think they both sold out to foreign interests and privatized companies and privatized prison complexes and I mean, just like whatever other bullshit. They sold us out, and they're all losers. You know, that's how I feel. They're panhandlers, man. Like I ran for office, and then like the lady against me raised like millions of dollars like to broke his district, and like I just called her a panhandler like everybody else. They're all panhandlers. They're like, look, God, I'm running for office, costs some money, and I'm just like, you guys are losers. Even Trump, man. Trump flies into a private jet and asks me for money. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like you have a private jet, you're a billionaire, and you just ask your fan base for money. It's like, shut the fuck up. That's how. I mean, it's like all these guys are bullshit. You know, it's not like I'm taking. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Where's the Batman? Where's Superman at? Where are all these heroes at? You know, it's like where's the John Waynes? You know, where's the Pattons, man? Where's FDR at? Where's Truman? You know, where are these guys? Where are these heroes at? And then there's just a bunch of like everything's co-opted. All of our institutions are like co-opted. I mean, by the CCP, they print money and blackmail everybody. I mean, it's just like it's just boring, and it's like the worst take. If America's gonna be taken, I want to be taken in cooler ways. I object to its boringness. You know what I mean? I'm just like, this is like the most boring world global takeover of all time, basically.
All right. I don't think that we're being. I understand what you're saying. I don't think we're going to be taken over at anytime soon. I knock on wood.
I don't think China's got the numbers, but they're all like 4 foot tall, man. So it's like, I mean, it's just like it's like you just got to bullet all these guys.
Even if China has most of our debt, right? By a wide margin. Yeah, they do. It is what it is, and maybe that's the way to keep the peace, right? I don't know.
Wow.
I mean,
wow, maybe. Yeah.
If we and I say that not trying to as a trying to like communist sympathizer or anything like that. I'm simply saying that.
Well, as a human, humans, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but there's trade relations. You know, they rely on us heavily in order for their economy to be stood up. By us purchasing equipment from them, which some may say we sold out to China. And to that, I do agree. We went too hard in the paint with it. The flip side of that being is that, but why did we do it? We did it not necessarily because of corporate greed, although there was corporate greed involved, but it's because of people said, I don't want to pay. And it's just simple human, interaction. Can I get the same product for half the price? I can. Presumably, it's the same product quality, like apples to apples. Or I can't tell the difference. And so the product is significantly cheaper, which means that my paycheck goes a little bit further. And therefore, I now get to do the things that I want to do for longer or have something even better. And that's a cultural thing. Like we no longer we basically sold out to better ourselves rather than the community, right?
In temporary, short term, like we benefited short term. Like the 70s, 90s bubble was awesome, but the bubble's gone, and like we don't have any jobs here. Like the schools just train people to work at factories that don't exist, and like colleges train people to like work at jobs that no longer exist either. It's like we're selling people the old world when the new world's here. You know, it makes no sense. Like that's how I feel. You know.
I like that. I think that's actually really good input. I think that the way that society is moving now, it is becoming more polarized, where it is very much like super high techy. And then the flip side is that there is a lot of people that are retiring from the trades or more blue collar. So it's creating a vacuum. So there is a lot more people going back to that because the dream, and it's like, I get this aspect too as a parent. What do you want to have for your kids? You want to have your kids better than, yourself, right? I think that's a natural feeling, and it's an okay feeling of like, I worked really hard to scrape 2 pennies together to provide the life that I gave to you. And because I love you and everything else like that, I want you to do even better than what I did. I want to give you a better foundation than what I had to start out with. And that better foundation is going to hopefully, propel you. Like it's just increasing what's called like social upward mobility. It's promoting upward mobility, right? And it's kind of like if you're a smoker, if you smoke cigarettes, right? Um, you might be a smoker and you might have smoked all your life, but you probably wouldn't tell your kids on their 18th or 21st birthday. I don't know what the age is in Missouri, but in California it's 21,
I
right?
think it's 21
Uh,
nationwide.
oh,
I think
shows how long I bought.
Yeah, I think
Shows
it's a
how long.
41. I smoked
Oh,
with a
okay,
kid,
great.
girl. I'm drunk. I'll bum a couple
Yeah,
cigarettes. I'm not a
yeah,
smoker.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you would probably never tell your kids, I presume, on their 21st birthday, let's go get you a pack of cigarettes, right? Like, no, you wouldn't. At the end of the day, you're like, this is, I know I do it. It's terrible. I know that it's terrible, but I definitely don't want you to do it, right? That concept, and I understand I'm kind of getting all over the place here, but the same principle I think exists for parents with kids of like, hey, I want you to do even better than what I did, and I want you to take what I gave you and do it better. So that presumption of like, hey, go to college, go to college, go to college, created influx of kids going to college that never really discovered who they were, or had really any idea or direction other than their parents consistently telling them to go to college and get a degree so they could be marketable in the business space. And then it's going to create a lot of resentment at the end of that too, because there isn't going to be enough jobs or it's going to be really competitive. And then the kids are going to say, like, I'm now $80,000 in college debt with a degree that is basically worthless because at the end of the day, I always wanted to be a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Which does suck, but thankfully, because of the society and culture that we live in, like you could have a YouTube channel and create videos on working on cars. Like one of the YouTuber that I love watching work on cars is his name, like Chris Fix. I don't know if you've heard of him, but dude's
No.
great. Oh, just he's so methodical in the way that he, you know, works on cars and breaks it down for like the layman, and he just gives me a tremendous amount of like motivation to work on my car. I never do, but
You live vicariously
you
through
know,
him. That's what it's for.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But now, in his own way, I'm now supporting him and he's now able to make a living and he's teaching other people around the nation, the world, how to work on cars. And that type of opportunity did not exist 35 years ago.
Yeah, it is weird because like the jobs are better because I don't have to like do all this crazy stuff my grandfather had to do. He went from the farm to the factory, all that stuff. Like to where like I think about it all the time. Like he fought my grandfather fought in World War II, and I share memes. Like, I just like I just literally I think about that constantly. I don't even have to try. And how
Yeah.
and I do, but I don't have to. I literally could do nothing probably the rest of my life and just copy paste sentences on the internet. As long as the internet exists. Like. And that's why
Right.
duality. I hate electronics, but I have such an easy life with them. It's like it's like weird. I have this like weird duality where like if I didn't just copy paste sentences on the internet and like and whatever. I reduce a podcast step, but it's basically. It basically is that though. I'm always like, oh, here's this link, here's this YouTube link, oh, here's this link. It's what I feel like. Twirling. I don't know how to describe it. I would be Amish if I didn't have this job. Probably. I probably would. I don't like electronics that much. I'm getting tired of them. It's like I stared at them too much for my life. I'm just getting bored.
If I'm full transparency here for a second with what I'm hearing, what you're talking about is it kind of sounds like you feel like maybe you're not producing like a tangible thing. The work to you isn't necessarily the most rewarding or fulfilling or like you're kind of longing for something more. So then
Or
honestly,
less.
Anthony, yeah, or less, but I challenge you then to do something that maybe is a little bit fearful, something that is unfamiliar or foreign to you, and get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your shell, and just go out there and try it, experiment. I don't know what that is. If it's getting a job at Home Depot, or if it's going to college yourself, if it's creating a different company that does something else, if it's creating another YouTube channel that goes in a different direction or something, like any number of things. And because we live in the best country in the world, and because we have the most amount of freedom, you have that, like the barriers to entry are so low.
Yeah, I feel like
And
I'm in that last part where I took like 10 years to get like where I'm at, where I could tour the United States. I could like have a podcast. Do that. That's where I'm at the last part of
yeah,
it. To where I just like
stand-up comedy.
or just but I'm at like the last part of it where I could probably cash out pretty soon and just make all that money I didn't make for the last 10 years of like blindly chasing it. And then give me like to where I think I'm in that spot now where I'll probably cash out and I'll probably just shave my beard and fake my death and just go get a ranch. You know, it's like, and not as I was fake my death, that's illegal. But I'm saying like just move on. You know, just to kind of be like, okay, well, entertainment was fun. I met everybody I wanted to almost. It was a good time. It still continues to be good times. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this. I enjoy this over working anywhere else. I tell myself I hate it all the time. I enjoyed like talking or like the cool people I just meet and can talk and be on the show, and like I enjoy and I enjoy people watching and messaging me about it. I do enjoy it, but I'm saying like it's getting to a point where I'm old. I'm like 30. I'm 37. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old, self-promoting or whatever. It just you get to a point where you just want to be like, okay, I get off my lawn. I'm going to sleep. You know, and that's about. And that's kind of how I feel. That's how I feel at 37 already. I feel like that's kind of young to feel that way, but I feel like I literally just. I mean, my job didn't make money for the first whatever years. You know what I mean? Like for until like I mean, only the last 5 years have I been monetized as an artist. Whereas like I mean, before that, it's just like a hard thing to get. It's like it takes my 20s were spent of 19 to like 24 spent chasing things with no results, and then like you know, and then like 28, I got a couple things happening where it kept me in it, and then now I feel like I'm so close to just cashing out and just being like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna just buy a ranch and just break all my phones.
Anthony, you tell me that's not the American dream. Everything that you just described. You just talked about a hero's journey, trials and tribulations. You figured your way, you made mistakes, you learned things that didn't work, you found things that did. You eventually found success, and you're at a point where you're like, I've climbed the mountain. I've done what I've wanted to do. It's great. I'm not saying it's bad now, but like at this point, I kind of want to do something different. And I think that that's fucking amazing, man. That is great. That's a great story. You should write a fucking book.
If I could read, I would. You know, it's like I'm gonna make a coloring book. You know, but
yeah,
no, I appreciate
why
it.
not?
I appreciate it. See, I was the best around, but no, I appreciate it, man. Like, but no, I feel that way, and I feel like I'm about to that point where I just like where I just I just get a ranch and I just I go back to doing everything I made fun of as a kid. You know. I like basically like that's where I'm at now. Is I made fun of country music so much that I knew nothing about it, and then now I tear through it and I love it. And like all this stuff I just thought was dumb as a kid. Like I thought like farming was dumb, and I'm like I thought I was I was just product of the suburbs, man. And so you like look at that and you're like, but now I'm like loving it now. Now I'm like kind of like all the things I made fun of. I'm almost like I think that's the move. And like I don't know, I continue. This is a fun job. I can talk to anybody. I can talk to rock stars. Talk to anybody with the fun. Like your stories what got me, man. Like the drone stuff got me. I'm like I gotta listen to this, and we're collabing in other ways. You're in that hot sauce tournament too that we're doing this week. Or I don't know. I hate saying that live because I don't know when it airs, but we're filming it probably this week. But no, it's like so. I mean, it's multifaceted. I love multiple things, and like it's just like it's a great thing to do. You know, it's like I've had like my favorite rock star was a co-host for 9 months of this. You know, it's just like. I don't know, man. Like in this episode, I think it's awesome. I mean, like 300 people are still watching it. Me might mumble like to you about this, and you look bored. You know, like 300 people are just watching.
Not at all.
I'm just making fun of myself. But no, I'm just saying like I think it's just like it's an interesting thing. It's weird. This is what took off, to be honest, because I probably want to be like a rock star, like a million other things, and
you look like ZZ Top, you know.
yeah. But no, my beard's actually longer than ZZ Top's now, which is fucking weird. That's weird. And Rick Rubin's, which is weird to me. Because as a kid, you're like, man, Rick Rubin's got a really long beard, and then like now I'm like 37, my beard's longer than his. And it's just weird things like that. You know, it's like, and that's not really a measurement of a man or anything. But I'm just saying, like, it's weird to even say those words. Like, even I feel like a little kid just daydreaming all day. I'm like, oh man, a guy wants to talk about drones today. Awesome. And like, I'm gonna ask him all these questions. Like, and that's just how. I mean, it's just like being like an overgrown child, always wanting to learn, you know. And I think that's kind of what I feel like I do for a living. Is like kind of just like I don't know. That's what I feel like. But I think like, what do you? So you do hot sauce full time? Is that what you do full time?
I do. Yeah, I do.
That's
yeah,
it's part of your company name too. So they'll be in this later. But if you're streaming this, check out Mach 1, the hot sauce and stuff, like or whatever other sauces you have.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah. I have mine in a box, or I'd be pulling mine out right now. They'll be in the tournament. We're doing a tournament. Well, we're gonna break this up into several hot sauces, but they're in the first tournament we're doing with like hot sauce. We're gonna try them out and like rate them and stuff, and just kind of. I love hot sauce. We're just kind of doing that, and he owns one of the hot sauce companies in there. So
So earlier this year, I've been working on this. I worked on a business plan when I went through grad school, and did a bunch of R&D and what's really called marketing. I think a lot of people get marketing and advertising mixed up, but I would make a lot of I would make a lot of hot sauce in my kitchen, and I'd put a QR code on a sticker, right? And I'd slap it on a bottle. And I was doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the time. And I'd give it out to all the guys in the class and be like, please leave a review, right? Friends, family. And after like 42 iterations from, once again, collections, like getting all of that data, processing it into actionable intelligence, I came up with the recipes, like, that had been proven. And the recipes, I then had it produced by what's called a co-packager. And now I sell hot sauce after many years of, sweat and tears. So we have the Mach 1, which is our mild one, right there. And it's got the Bell X1 on it. So this is the first plane that went, Mach 1.
What kind of sauce is that? Like, what does it go with and stuff?
That's a great question. It's a breakfast sauce.
Awesome.
All right, it crushes on eggs. I mean, just excels on eggs in every way. I don't mind a Louisiana style, and a Louisiana style is predominantly number one ingredient is going to be vinegar, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of viscous. They can be really acidic, and to me, it's good every once in a while. I think it's good on wings, but it gets a little bit much, and it could give me like indigestion sometimes. So I wanted to create a hot sauce, an American style hot sauce, and that's a big part of it too. That has like a tremendous amount of flavor and like perfectly balanced heat. So for this one, we have roasted red bell peppers, onion, garlic, tomatoes, apple cider vinegar, red habaneros, a little bit of ginger and salt. And it's just like a killer hot sauce that has a tremendous amount of flavor. It excels on breakfast, and a lot of that's from the tomato. And then we have a Mach 2. And this has got
It's like a taco sauce.
Yeah, so a lot of people call it like a green sauce or yellow sauce. It's got Scotch bonnets in it, and Scotch bonnets are, as just a phenomenal pepper. I think a lot of people sleep on it. And it's got golden cayennes or ají amarillos. It's got champagne vinegar and roasted carrots in it, roasted onion, roasted garlic, ginger. So the vinegar, the champagne vinegar, and the carrots has like a sweeter, kind of more floral taste. It's actually our biggest, like, number one seller right now. It's been selling incredibly well, because you just don't find that flavor in the hot sauce market today, and I think it goes great on.
I immediately thought that when you said that it sounded interesting. Yeah, no, like not the same
Yeah.
thing.
But I don't want any of them to be like an anecdotal commodity or like a flash in the pan. Like, I think once you try it, you'll see you're like, holy shit, like I had no idea hot sauce can taste like this. Like, there's just, it isn't something, and none of them are going to be like make you tear or cough or like choke. I get it on like the machismo kind of, like, you got the guys over, you want to see who's tough or whatever, or like a prank, like
That's an exception for sure. Yeah, no, it's not practical for daily use though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it really isn't. Like, at the end of the day, like talking business, you're only going to be able with that type of like mentality. Like, your market, your addressable market is incredibly limited. It's incredibly exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a key part. So it's like, why we do want to make a hotter hot sauce, but it's still gonna always have flavor. It's never going to be like
a hot sauce episode, because I feel like I could talk about this for like 9 more hours. Like, I love hot sauce. Like, we may have to have you back on a hot sauce, like put together like a hot sauce episode.
I'd love to be on it for sure. Absolutely. This is the one that I recommended to you. So this is our Mach 3
with the peppers. You said you mix chocolate in
there. Yeah, it's got chocolate habaneros, chocolate ghost peppers, and then we put espresso powder in it. And all the planes are. What's that?
That box has been sitting there. I have hot sauces just
sitting
there. I'm like,
I bet.
I like drooling. Bro. I love sauce. No, I can't wait to try that, man. Like that Mach 3. I mean, they all sound interesting. Don't get me wrong, but like that third one sounded kind of interesting. I've never had
Yeah.
with those kind of peppers, which sounds kind of
Yeah.
interesting. And that's how it was back in the day. I think cocoa was mixing more stuff like that, like in the Southern America and stuff like that. And it still is, I guess, but I
Yeah.
think it's a very Southern American thing. I think, like not
Yeah.
Oklahoma, like Chile, you know, like the
Right.
people watching. Yeah, I'm like, oh, but that's what they do in the South, like Texas or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? So, maybe for a lot of your Southern audience will already know this and call me a fucking idiot, but Southern food is the only real American food that we have.
Yeah,
More specifically, Creole food, right? Like because of the French trappers that arrived in America before the Pilgrims, right? Like that's why they speak French in the South and they speak it in Canada. They were the first settlers, like white,
Yeah.
you know, and
Creole's like
the
okay.
food that
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. It's like okay, you know, to me.
it's real comfort food. It's that to me
No,
is
everybody
like,
else loves it. Everybody else. I know. I went to
yeah.
New Orleans. Everybody's like telling me how awesome the food is, and I'm like, all right, like I guess I don't know. It wasn't bad.
I'm not saying right.
It just wasn't like. I mean, they built. I think if they had they not built it up, I'd probably say it was great. Like to be honest, I think it was
Okay.
like built up for you, so you go there with these preconceived notions. But
Yeah.
I think Chinese food is American food because it was like built in like San Francisco to like the immigrants and stuff. And I'd almost say
chop suey, yeah.
I'd almost say hamburger was because, but it was like given to people before they came here, so it's German still. But you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd almost argue like the Chinese like chop suey and stuff would be American almost.
Yeah.
But that's about
It is, right.
Pizza's
Right.
Italian. We did it better, but pizza's Italian. But I don't know. Have you ever seen an Italian pizza?
You just pissed off all of Italy for sure.
Oh,
Have I
they're
seen
already mad. Like dude, their pizza's so bullshit. It's like a giant cracker with like cheese on. It's just like it looks like a Honey I Blew Up the Kids like version of like a Lunchables. It's like
Yeah, you're talking about like a starts with an M, like a margarita pizza.
yeah, it's just boring. You know, it's like I mean even Domino's is better than
A
that.
little dry. I feel like it's a little dry for sure.
Yeah, their wine's bad too, bro. It tastes like rubbing alcohol. It's like they're like so obsessed about this stuff, dude, and it's just not even good. I don't know. It's like America perfected everything. So I feel.
Well, I think it's part of our culture. I mean, we're playing to our own likes and everything else. You brought up a really good point with like the Chinese food. Like traditionally, you're right. Chop suey is not,
San Francisco.
Exactly. Yeah, it was originated in San Francisco. The Hawaiian pizza, I love that one between two completely different.
Well, now you pissed off the other half of Italy. Now you pissed off. Putting pineapple on pizza pissed off the other half of the Italians we didn't piss off already by saying their pizza sucks. Like, so.
You know, you bring up some solid points for sure, but barbecue, and I know that we can't, as America, we can't own the market on barbecue because barbecuing meat has been around since we discovered fire. But the way that we barbecue is top. Yeah,
that's a Missouri thing too. You know, like Missouri did like the pork steaks. I think, man, that was like their thing.
Yeah,
like that was like their originator of that. I know I love barbecue, man. Everybody like. Do you have Sugar Fire out there?
A what?
Sugar Fire, it's like a barbecue spot. If you said what, you probably don't have it. You know, I can tell. Yeah, like if you didn't know, yeah. But no, the Sugar Fire is so good. Like I mean, that's like a mainstream kind of barbecue spot, but it's like for out here, but it's so good. And I'm close to Kansas City too, where I got all that barbecue. Like
so that's chicken, right?
What's that?
Isn't Kansas known for chicken?
It depends on who you ask, man. Like some places think I'm from, like St. Louis is known for. Like I'll travel places and like people in like Hawaii and New Orleans are like, oh, that's where barbecue's from. I'm like, I guess. I just, but I thought, but everybody's on that hot chicken thing now. Everybody's on that like that with like Nashville and like Memphis and stuff. Everybody I talk to that travels and eats food like they all like hot chicken. That's like their thing now. I'm like a rib guy.
I thought Kansas was known for chicken. Missouri was known for pork, right, or ribs, and Texas was brisket. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say that honestly. I don't know I don't know much about Kansas City other than the barbecue thing, but I mean, I'm sure that's like brisket with Texas. Yeah, no, that's the best brisket I ever had was probably in Texas, like Hill Country area, and then like we eat a lot like the pork steak and the ribs seem like a predominantly Missouri thing. Like I see it other places. I'm not trying to act like I don't, but I'm saying like. It's way overblown here, you know. Everybody's got smokers and stuff, you know. Everybody's like, that's definitely a move here, and it's
love
weird.
it. That's great. That's great. That's building community.
Do what? I'm sorry.
I said that's building community. Building community, having barbecue, family style, everyone coming together. Hopefully, if you got a good neighbor and they got a big old smoker, and they're like, "Hey, you want a slice?" You're like, "Yeah, dude, hook it up. Let's go." Like,
dude,
I love that.
In summer, so much of that. Like dude, you'd love the. I don't know if you'd like to look at. I like to look at the Ozarks though. Like you seen that show Ozark probably.
Yeah.
It's more white trash in some ways and less white trash in other ways. But it's like but it's like this party spot, man, where like you go there and everybody just wants to drink beer and like boat hop to bars and stuff. And like I love that culture. And then like it's such an early culture too. Like you want to like wake up at like 6 or 7 and be out on the water, and then you're like passed out by like 8 or 9. And, like you already ate barbecue, you drink every beer.
Right.
I love that style, man. It's like that's key Missouri to me. It's like a more. You've been to Vegas, I imagine. If you're from California, you've probably been there a bunch.
I have.
It's close, yeah. No, so that's what. But yeah, no. It's like a more white trash version of Las Vegas, you know, and it's like a redneck Hollywood, I'd call it, man. That's what it seems like. Like you'll go down there some weekends, man. It'll be like I do comedy out there, like, and that's my favorite market. I've done like Maui, I've done like all these places that impress everybody but me. But the Lake of the Ozarks, like, I love that spot, man. Like you would. As a California citizen, you should come to Lake of the Ozarks just to feel better about yourself and have a good time. Like it'll be good for the ego, and it'll be great for the. You'll have a great time too, you know. But no, I love it there, man. It's like a magic thing. Like some of these nights, you go down there, you got like these like 40s roadsters next to like a $4 truck. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just like crazy, like the different people and it's just like people from everywhere come down there to party all summer, man. And it's just like there's so much money down there too. I mean, it's just like you could probably make like a year's salary in like 3 months doing any job down there. I mean, a smart job like bartending or serving or something, you know. But without even owning any company, you could probably make like $60K in a summer. Just what you know what I mean? Just in a summer.
Sounds like the American dream is still exists. Then see, this is what I'm talking about.
It's everywhere.
Exactly. There's opportunities everywhere. We need to take blinders off. I think everyone needs to take a step back and have like, you know, some introspection or a cathartic experience of being like, man, I know it kind of sucks, but like I have running water, I have a roof over my head, like just the basic survival, and then go from there and be like, you know, is there a place that could hold my money? I understand there might be some people who are like, fuck the banks, but you know, like there's a lot of safety and security, right? There's a lot of freedoms and opportunities, and upward mobility isn't completely locked out, you know.
Not at all. You just have to. I mean, you just can't. I mean, these people will spend their money frivolously and then don't work hard. I mean, it's just that's why people are poor. I mean, not to be rude. I mean, if you're poor longer than 10 years, it's your fault. You know what I mean? Like you can start a company at any point. I mean, and I'm not saying that. Maybe there's some like health problem. There's maybe there's
absolutely.
I'm not trying to say that about. I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but I'm just saying like you got to do it yourself, man. You can't just like.
Yeah,
you can't just,
I would say.
Wait for it. You gotta do it.
Right. I would say at 10 years, it's like you're actively trying to not do anything. You know what I mean? Assuming there isn't like some sort of ailment or something, because there is.
There could be some like the thing, but outside of that, if you and your 20s should be wasted like. Excuse me, your 20s should be wasted for that. That's what I did. I wasted my 20s. I feel like being poor and just like chasing things, you know. And I think like
that's really prime your life.
Yeah, it benefited me. It's the best time to be poor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best time to be. I mean, maybe thousandaire. So I'm not saying like broke, but it's the best time to not be a millionaire, probably.
Right. No, I agree. I completely agree with you. I think, you know, you shouldn't go to college immediately after high school. You should, you know, not take like a gap year or anything like that. I mean, like just find yourself, go to community college, work a job. You know what I mean? Be an intern somewhere, do something. You know, start your journeyman course for carpentry or something. Like, you don't know who you are at 18. I certainly didn't. But I knew in order.
How old are you now?
I'm 30, almost 34.
About the same age. Yeah, I'm a little older. Yeah, about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows who they are ever. I feel like, and they slowly figure it out, and you slowly change who you are. Like I could say who I am right now, but in 5 days I could feel different. You know, it's like every 5 hours. You know, it's like it's a constant thing. It's like no, I think you brought on a lot of good points there. Like I mean, I rebelled against the college thing, all that stuff. And then I went back to it. I went back to it old. I liked it old. I liked going in my 30s. It was more fun.
For sure. I did it the same way.
Well, you're military. You got a military career and then probably to college, right?
Yeah, and college was never an option for me, right? I didn't even know what an engineer was until maybe 22 or 23 or something like that. Like I remember when I was a kid, the first job I wanted to do was I'd say I want to be an inventor. right? I'd probably call that being a an engineer today, but
Yeah,
um,
more accurate. Yeah.
I wanted to create something from a very early age, but we were poor, like I said, single mother of 5, and then she had some pretty bad boyfriends and stuff like that. But not going too far into it, drug problems, you know. And I immediately, when I turned 18 and graduated high school, I was like, I'm getting the F out of here. And like,
I hear that a lot in
um,
military people. My dad,
yeah, oh,
too.
yeah,
My dad was just
I,
like,
I,
like, I'm just gonna go to the
yeah,
military and like have a career immediately that pays, and that's the fastest way
mhm.
out. Really, I mean, you're
Yes,
sacrificing a
that's
lot.
exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah, you're sacrificing a lot, but I mean, that's the fastest way out. I mean, without bartending or serving or like being a salesman or something. I mean, those are all the only ways I've seen people make more than like $14 an hour as a kid, you know, like, or whatever. Well, I mean, not now. Now that's the minimum wage. But I'm saying, like, I remember being like a kid and you only make like $6-7 an hour or something like that. You know, it's like, I mean, every job's like, no, you're dumb, you're young, you know, like
right. I
it's still
had, well, I
working
mean, like,
that way. Oh, sorry.
I had, no, it's okay. I had, yeah, I had worked some odd jobs and I'd been fired before I even joined the military. And for me, it was, for me, and I think for a lot of people that join the service, probably like 8 times out of 10, for those that join the service are coming from similar backgrounds of like economic problems, abuse problems, drug related, alcohol, sexual trauma, um, extreme poverty. And for a lot of us that join, men and women, they're like, the childhood that I had, I mean, I know that I'm a stronger person now and I'm pretty resilient. And I think I could leverage that to the military. And if I do the military, they're going to give me discipline and honor and a snappy uniform and camaraderie and a sense of accomplishment and a tribe and like upward mobility is the biggest one. We'll get to that. But you're also going to get like mentors, right? You're going to have purpose and a sense of, I already said sense of accomplishment. And then at the end of it, now our culture obviously rewards veterans and fighting or serving your country. Uh, when you get out, you got to have that kind of accomplishment, but then you also now get to go to college and you get all these other benefits that aren't privy to a lot of people. Like I used the VA home loan, right, to guarantee a home loan, which was incredibly beneficial for me financially. I was able to go to college, which was never an option for me at any other point in time in my life, even remotely.
I think the veterans deserve it. I mean, the older I get, the more I understand the struggle. I mean,
Which
as a
is why
kid,
I always say I love taxpayers and thank you for paying your taxes because it pays for all that. That's the truth. Like it's the
well,
truth.
that's something I back taxes going to for sure. Like when I was like, I remember being a kid and I'm just like, I remember being a kid and I'm just like, I would get annoyed that every veteran would act like a hero and stuff, and they'd be like, oh, I'm a hero for joining. I'm like, and then as I got older, I go, shut the fuck up. They're sacrificing their time, even if they're not in like combat, even if they're not fucking like George Washington. Shut the fuck up. They sacrifice their time. They're away from their family. They're away from their friends. They're doing something so everybody's scared of America, so I could be fat and lazy. And like, I mean, to be honest, I mean that's how I look at it now. It's like the amount of sacrifice is nuts. I remember that angsty kid, and I'm just like, fuck everybody, it's not me. Everybody's not me is retarded. It's just that low vibration bullshit thing. But now I get older, I really, really appreciate like the veterans and stuff when I look back at everything now and just like kind of grew up and like and I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for all this like amazing like downtime I'm allowed to have, like and like like anyone could be rich now, and like I mean I just it's really weird, just like kind of I don't know, just growing up being more thankful for things rather than finding resentment, but really it was inside myself anyway. My hate was inside myself, it wasn't even anyone else's problem. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. It's like I blamed everything else but me, but now I could look at it and just be like, man, I mean I appreciate anyone sacrificing that, man. Like I mean, like having to, like anybody could just be a loser and play video games, like I feel like I mean you can even do that while you're being awesome. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? But I just being like, I don't know. I really appreciate the veterans, like especially like all wars and stuff. I mean, I really, I mean, I appreciate the Revolutionary War. I appreciate, like, I appreciate like World War II, all that stuff, and everything in between, and then everything after. It's like I think as I get older, I really do appreciate like the military way more than, and I understand it more almost, but without being you and being in it.
Right.
I don't fully understand it, but I understand the outside point of view of it.
Anthony, I totally understand everything you're saying, and I can't speak for the veteran community, but I personally appreciate it, and I think that's fucking awesome, man. Everything that you said, and I agree with you. And I'm happy for all the men and women that are still in uniform today that are doing the job,
Oh yeah,
and the
be thankful.
sacrifice. It means that I don't have to, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm
And
very thankful for that. God bless them all, man.
absolutely, yes, sir, yes, sir. We actually just sent 600 bottles out to men and women deployed overseas right now
That's a cool
for
corporate business.
holiday care packages. So with a little note that says the same thing of like, hey, I was in your shoes many years ago. Keep up the good fight, and enjoy this hot sauce on us. And so
Yes, fuck up China. You're like,
yes, yeah, I would say, what I can say is this, is that, like, unfortunately in every war there's going to be casualties, and I'm definitely not hoping for anything, but arrogance before the fall. But in terms of military, like I said, bar none, we are better than any other country. I say this respectfully, before we lose your Italian fans here, whatever's left of them. Uh, we've been at war on average like every 10 years. I mean, Afghanistan just ended, and that was a 20-year engagement, right?
Yeah.
Iraq, the amount of technology that we have produced, even the stuff that we don't even know about, I didn't even know about when I was in, we probably won't even know about for another 10, 15 years, is like 2 or 3 levels beyond anything that's anybody else is working on. We have the budget. I mean, as a country, we focus 50% of our budget goes to our military, which is higher than any other country. The biggest air force in the world is the United States Air Force. Do you know what the second biggest air force in the world is?
The Navy.
The United States Navy. That's right. Yes, sir. Right. Like we just dominate in
No, I love
every
it, man.
way. And we're battle tested, for better or for worse. And our tactics are proven, and our technology is just beyond comprehension. Right.
And it's like if you luckily get past that, you then have to deal with the American civilians with like it's something like we have like 50 million more guns than people. Like out here, it's like
just think about territory in itself. Territory in itself, we're super OP. Like we need to get nerfed in the sense of like, in order to get to us, you either have to go through Canada, or come up through Mexico. Because if you're going to try and get us on a border, like, gratitude's the attitude. I agree. But it's going to be a tough road to hoe. And like you said, for the civilian populace and militias and service members, 10% of the population is a veteran. It's not going to end well in any way. And bear in mind, occupying takes 3 times the manpower, right? Or 5 times the manpower. It's an odd number. And we had that problem in Iraq and Afghanistan too, because it's just easy. It's incredibly easy just to blow everything up and then just move on. It's harder. It's harder to stay there, right? And try and change the culture. And it's the reason why I was saying, like, one of the reasons why we lost Vietnam and really Afghanistan for that matter is that we lost the war of culture. I don't know about you. I like football. I'm a 49ers fan. I know, put me on a cross, but 49ers. And
other teams that win, like the Chiefs, I like
no, for sure. But it's like, another country saying like, hey, no more football. You guys like cricket now, or something like that. Like, it's just not going to take. We're just not going to do that. That's just not who we are. It's not you can't change our culture. And when America tries to do that, that's when we run into problems and we start spinning our tires and not getting anywhere. And I saw that too many times in Afghanistan of like, hey, we're trying to change your guys' culture. Women have equal rights. Women can wear what they want to wear. We're going to get rid of this glory killing stuff. We're going to like, hey, stop fucking kids. Go Packers, right? Hey, where did Aaron Rodgers go for? Where's Aaron Rodgers from? For your fan, that was a Packers person there. Sorry.
I don't know Chris. Yeah, I know Chris though. Chris was in Maui when I was out there. It's
okay.
He's in Albuquerque now, I think. He's in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying, Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't get the fuck. It's It's been an hour and a half. I need to get out of here. I'll talk like 9 more hours, bro. Like we need to go do stuff for a life.
I'm sorry for rambling.
No, you're interesting. I
sorry.
liked it, man. I normally don't go this long. Normally I stay about like 50 minutes to an hour. You got me listening to stories, and I appreciate that. And we'll have to have you back on like after that hot sauce thing, like have you back on for some other stuff. Or like,
Love it.
I just realized how long I've been on here. I'm like, I need to go do stuff for my life, dude. We just got 200 people staring at us still. It's kind of awkward, you know. It's like
yeah, I'm sorry.
I feel like a zoo animal right now. You know, really do other things. No, I appreciate. No, literally, I feel like I could talk like for. I feel like I just ended a conversation in a weird spot, but I feel like this podcast is going on forever. I want people to listen to it, and I'd talk to you forever, man. So let's come back on sometime, man.
Okay.
We'll nerd out about hot sauce or something. I think that could be good, man. Like because you got a lot on that, but I definitely want to do that tournament first, but like but I think like let's nerd out about hot sauce at some point, man. It's like I love that stuff too. I mean that'd be an easy episode too. Just have a couple like creators of hot sauce on, like talk about it or something.
You got it. Talk about the history and different regions or peppers or Scoville ratings or.
Dude, yeah, any kind of thing like that's just awesome content, man. I love stuff like that. Yeah, no, throw out any links and stuff so people like that heard us talk about your hot sauce, man, want some or like any kind of I think you run some charities too, you said, or something like that, or anything like that.
Yeah, we've sent our hot sauce to quite a few. Basically, just giving the hot sauce out to service members that are overseas. But our website is mach1hotsauce.com, www.mach1hotsauce.com, and then we also have an Instagram that's mach1hotsauce. Either of those are two good avenues if you want to order any bottles or get a sticker or get a t-shirt. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you taking the time to do this too, man. Thanks for like what you've done as well, and like and then if you guys want to try that Mach 1 sauce, we'll have a review of it soon, and we're gonna do like more of a tournament based thing, but we're definitely gonna talk about it and give you guys some information on it too. If you guys want to live vicariously through us, or you want to try it with us, even try some with us, man. It's always good to have more hot sauce. I think everybody needs at least like 10, 15 bottles of different kinds of hot sauce in their fridge at a time for different options. You know, like if you're really a man, you have 15 hot sauces at least, right? How many do you have? You make hot sauce. How many do you make? How many do you have just in your fridge or like in an area where you use it?
I honestly have about 6 bottles at any time. Any more, and then we lose fridge space. I have 4 kids. I need a lot of room for like milk and eggs. You know what I mean?
6 is great though. No, six is still a serious number. I exaggerate by saying 15, but no, I mean like when you're young, you have like one, right? Like when you're like 20, you have like one hot sauce. You're like, oh, this is like watered down vinegar bullshit thing.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you like figure out the flavors you like and stuff, and you're like okay, I have to have like this one for tacos or this one for like pizza or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
we're gonna end up talking. Yeah. I just started another conversation. We need to get out. We need to get out of here. Like you're too good at talking, and we're too likable that we'll keep this going forever. But but no, we'll talk about hot sauce later. Thank you for coming on here, man. I appreciate it. If you're watching at home, thanks for watching. Otherwise, this would just be a delusional Zoom call. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this every day. Somehow, I've been blessed to have weekday. I took this weekday, so I appreciate everybody. Buy all of his hot sauce. Get him a mansion so you can get him out of that basement. Get him in a. You need a. I'm just fucking with
it. It is a basement. You're right. No, you're right. No, you know a basement when you see one.
I'm just messing around, man. But no, definitely try this hot sauce. It'll be on some shows here soon. We're doing a hot sauce tournament. I'm not sure when it's going to air, so it's bad advertising to even say it right now. But he's on here, so that's why I was point of reference. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sponsors. Thanks for guests. Thank you for coming on here, man. I appreciate it. And I hope you watching at home of all your dreams come true. And one day you could have a cell phone podcast like this, you know. So God bless you.